The New York SAFE Act of 2013 is very important legislation in the state of New York, and to this day affects gun owners in a tremendous way. Let's break down what the SAFE Act is and what the provisions are that really affect gun owners even till today. One of the main things the SAFE Act did was expand the definition of assault weapons. Up until the SAFE Act in 2013, New Yorkers could still have somewhat of legitimate looking AR-15s and AK-47s. Ultimately, the old New York State assault weapon ban followed the assault weapon ban that's still in effect in New Jersey and what was the old federal assault weapon ban, where it banned guns that had 2 or more bad features. And those bad features, to remind people, are pistol grips, flash suppressors. Now they've expanded the muzzle devices that are included in that list, bayonet lugs, and other things that really affected the cosmetics of the firearm. When they changed the law and passed the SAFE Act, what they did was they made it so a gun was illegal if it only had 1 bad feature. So therefore, something like an AK-47 or an AR-15 that by definition has a pistol grip would be illegal even if it didn't have any muzzle device, even if it didn't have a collapsible stock, and even if it didn't have a bayonet lug. The bottom line of it is that now for an AR-15 or an AK-47 to be legal, they have to have a very funny looking stock that doesn't have a very pronounced pistol grip protruding under the action of the firearm. So it definitely expanded the definition of assault weapons, and it limited the types of weapons that New Yorkers could have. In addition, the SAFE Act also required that gun dealers, before they could sell ammunition, were required to do background checks for people that were going to buy ammunition. Those laws didn't take effect right away, and New York had to go through the process of building out its database, which it has recently done, and now those provisions are in effect, and you can no longer buy ammunition in New York without going through a background check the way you would if you were going through a NICS check to buy any handgun. Quick interruption, my name is Peter Tilem. I am New York's Second Amendment attorney. We set up New York Tac Defense, which is a prepaid legal plan for gun owners. You should go to the website, www.nytacdefense.com, and check it out. Now back to the video. New York SAFE Act also included a provision, which was later ruled unconstitutional, which basically said 10-round magazines were now illegal and only 7-round magazines could be sold in the state of New York. In addition, if you had 10-round magazines, you can keep them, but you can only load 7 rounds in those magazines. That law is still on the books, but has been ruled and deemed to be unconstitutional and is no longer enforced. Other important provisions. The SAFE Act amended New York's mental hygiene law, increasing the reporting requirements for therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists. They are required now to report many things to the SAFE Act database. Many people become prohibited people based upon the SAFE Act database, and these mental health prohibitors are very difficult to take off once they're on. So there are people, we get calls all the time from people who served in the military in New York, ended up in the SAFE Act database, and now are nationwide prohibited from owning guns under New York law. Those prohibitors are difficult, but not impossible to take away. The SAFE Act also changed the reporting requirements, making it a crime to fail to report that a firearm is lost or stolen within a certain period of time. SAFE Act also created a situation in New York where we now have mandatory universal background checks, which means that transfers that didn't require background checks in the past now require background checks through a FFL who's capable of going through the NICS or the New York State system. The SAFE Act further required all guns to be sold with a locking device, such as a trigger lock. In addition, under the SAFE Act, violations of law that had previously been misdemeanors were elevated to felony. It used to be, before the SAFE Act, that if you possessed an illegal firearm in your home, that was a misdemeanor. Or if you possessed a firearm that was unloaded outside your home, that was also a misdemeanor. Under the SAFE Act, both of those types of gun possession both became felonies, which meant that if you were convicted of any type of gun possession, you would not only face a felony and state prison, but you would also lose your gun rights in New York and throughout the country. New York amended the penal law in various areas. It was really a very, very sweeping change for New York gun owners. It's still on the books today. A lot of it has been modified multiple times. It's very important that when you are talking about purchasing firearms in New York, that you really look at the provisions of the SAFE Act and make sure that a firearm that you wish to purchase in New York is legal to possess and own in New York. Don't forget to click the subscribe button so you're up to date on all the new videos that are coming out.